What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today the Age released a new update and it has players concerned. And I have to say, it made me feel kinda sick. I don't know. It was a thing where we talked about it yesterday, and by the way, there will not be much gameplay here, so you can listen to this while doing something else probably, so that will be possible. They actually introduced a new power creep, we can say. And yesterday I was talking about it and I said, well guys, I hope it is kind of a new reoccurring event that allows you to get some abilities for heroes and gives them some more power. And maybe it will be interesting, maybe it will be cool. I sure hope it isn't dedicated treasure trains for single heroes. And now we have a new treasure train series called Weaponry of Valor, and it has treasures dedicated to singular heroes. And not only that, those treasures are fairly interesting. They give a basic attribute bonus that is applied to every single hero, so that is quite substantial. And then exclusive for hero Iron Core Mecha Basilisk, the new Transcendence hero, which we are going to review pretty soon. Next video that is coming up is going to be an event video where I show the event, and the video afterwards will be a little bit of an Iron Core Mecha showcase / review. So aware of that. Weaponry of Valor enhancement effect after the active skill is released deals 400% of attack, block and dodge ignoring damage to the enemy with lower speed than self 2 to 3 times, cannot land a crit. Afterward deals damage by 10% of the target's lost HP to the enemy with HP lower than 50%, caps at 1500% of the attacker's attack. So that is a pure damage effect. It is added to the active skill, so that is essentially another damage layer put on top of the active skill. And we have similar kind of effects on all of the orange ones here too. So all of those orange ones actually include another ability too. Some of those are on the basic, some of the passive, whatever. And then we have some red ones that just provide additional stats. The red ones are not really worth it that much, I can tell you. It's just like a bit of an HP and attack increase. You will not get around obtaining them either way, so it's not really an option at the moment to target farm anything because we can't farm them at the moment. Essentially what those treasures do, they are not designed to lift a hero up to the power that we currently know from heroes. They are designed to lift a hero to the power beyond that. So they are planning, and this is kind of the proof for that, they are planning to introduce those kinds of treasures for all the heroes as well. Meaning we are going to get 32 sets in total of those Weaponry of Valor sets, I could say. One set is 6 treasures, one of them is pink, 3 of those are orange, 2 of those are red. I assume this stays the same for all of the heroes. We have 32 Transcendence heroes in total, including Iron Core Mecha Basilisk. Yes. And that means we are going to get 32 pink treasures, we are going to get 96 orange treasures, we are going to get 64 red treasures in total in this series, which also explains why this has a cap of 50,000 points. And one thing that had many people confused was they introduced this as it increases the X upgrade max level for your hero. And this depends on the points that you have right there. At the maximum, which is at 50,000, it gives you 100 extra X upgrades, which has nothing to do with X tier. It is just, not this one, it's just the level that we have right here. Right now it's 100, it will be 200. And of course, if we check that out on, can we check that out on, wait, where's my... There, we can check that out. You can see what this actually gives you. The level increase also increases the speed of your hero. It was never really super substantial. A build of extra speed will be nice. Other than that, it is a level increase of a hero with the complications that come from that. In regards to armor, I made a video about it. It should not inflict you or affect you in any way, really. It is speed for advanced players in the end game. That is what matters. It is a side thing. It is also not part of the discussion that we want to have today. I just wanted to point it out because I saw some confusion around it. Do I like this? No, I don't. Because, well, even though they are probably... I just got a message. That is rather annoying. Even though they are probably on top of the power that we have. So you have like your Iron Core Mecha Basilisk, and even without these treasures, those treasures, he should be at the level of our current heroes if he's balanced fairly. And with those treasures, he's beyond that. And even though this is the case, a hero with treasures will be the normal at some point. It might not be the normal today, it might not be the normal tomorrow, it will certainly be the normal in like half a year. And that being said, I have to say, it just makes it rather annoying. It just makes it rather annoying that we now have to go for what is essentially, and was very well described by a viewer of mine called Face, as sublimations or noble core on steroids. It is an upgrade mechanic, and it is probably very difficult to obtain for free-to-play and low spenders, because, well, those are treasures. Treasures were always fairly difficult to obtain for free-to-play and spenders. And right now, if we talk about obtaining them, how are they even obtained? Maybe we ask that question right now because it fits in. They are not in the list right now. They are not available through any of the chests or something like that. They were not introduced to this, nor do we have any info that they will be. Right now, the only way you can obtain those treasures is through an extra event in the Star Invitation, which is like a release event for Transcendence heroes with rather mediocre rewards, which I don't want to point out in detail. There will be a video tomorrow where we'll check out all of the rewards and probably max this event, which I wouldn't recommend to most of you though. We have this new event, which is called Sacred Workshop, and I assume it will be a recurring event that will let you obtain a certain amount of those treasures during the time of a Transcendence release. To obtain those treasures, you have to get points. 15 points will give you the first one, 30 points the second one, 35 points the next one, etc., etc., up to 400 points in total. Every 100 points is essentially a full completion of this. So every 100 points will give you a pink treasure, and in the line of it, all of the treasures for the series before that. So you can get 4 of every single treasure if you completely max this event. Maxing this event already indicates there is some money involved, and yes, there is. What is free to play, what isn't? You can awaken a hero soul one time for 1 point. And that is 30 points maximum. And then you have every 100 scrolls that you use, because it is a heroic summon event right now, will give you 1 point, up to 20 points, so 2,000 scrolls. With 2,000 scrolls and 30 awakened heroes, you have 50 points, which will give you the 2 red ones that suck and 1 of the orange ones. Yeah. Great. At least you get the ability unlocked. I guess the first row is kind of the highest value one. But then we go into VIP XP, and this seems confusing. It's actually not confusing once you understand it. 50 VIP XP give you 1 point. 50 VIP XP cost exactly 1 USD. So essentially, 1 point is 1 USD, translates 1 to 1, means 350 USD they expect you to spend on this event, plus the 2,000 scrolls, plus 30 awakens to max it out to get every single treasure 4 times, which will give you a fairly decent boost to your Basilisk. We will go more into detail about how much. But one thing that I didn't show yet is that also on every single level, the ability gets increased. So we have 400% attack here, gets 550 there, then we have 700, 850, and at the end it becomes 1000 on top of like all the stat increases and everything. So it is quite a substantial increase to the ability that we get there. So you want to obtain more, and with the 4 you at least end up at 2-star. I think you don't get to 3-star though. I'll have to see about that. We will see that tomorrow in detail in this video. Nonetheless, spending 350 on such an event is whale territory. Why is this whale territory? If you check out the videos on my channel, we have at least 2 videos I remember right now where we did the 200 USD completion and the 110 USD completion, and those are way higher value in total completion of this event than this is. Beyond that, you get to 2-star, yes, but beyond that, the steps that you have to take, they are not yet carved out. We don't know it yet. We don't know what the H is planning. The H has once again not talked to us. The H has once again not introduced any info to that. The H has answered only a singular question that I'm aware of so far, and that was, yes, they are planning to introduce treasures for the older heroes as well. So your LFA is going to get a boost. They have not yet detailed what the entire plan is with that. We can kind of make assumptions to it, what the plan was, not in terms of like obtaining them. I would, in that regard, only say, well, we are probably going to see this event returning for every single Transcendence hero, so 350 USD seems to be what they expect a whale to spend on those events, where you formerly probably didn't spend that much, despite not really adding too much loot to the event, which is something we're going to uncover tomorrow. But beyond that, currently the theme of those is damage. This is like what they do here with the artifacts. They put damage in there. And while you don't necessarily need damage, is fundamentally different from a mechanical change, you kind of want damage. So you still want that if you want to max out Basilisk as your hero. In the same way as you would want it for your LFA, which are treasures that are going to come at some point. We don't know how quick the age is going to be, how long it's going to take them. I don't expect them to actually roll out all of those treasures in one go. And it also probably requires balancing. Because if you put like 100% of attack on Byron Core Basilisk, that is something entirely different than as putting it on LFA. Because there are different levels already. Maybe one can do better with like a little bit of extra damage that you give him for his ult. And the other because they have like self buffs. LFA has very good self buffs. 100% extra attack damage on his ult could change a lot in that sense. But if another hero doesn't have that, that might be a difference. So they have to balance it. And maybe they don't even want to make all those treasures the same power. That could also happen. And then they say, okay, even if we just stick to damage, and we are going to go over why mechanical damage can be devastating, they might say, okay, we want to give SFX a little bit stronger treasures, because SFX hasn't done so well, so we give her stronger treasures to maybe let her keep up a little bit. So we are looking potentially, and that is still not announced, at a meta change here, because DH is now able to rebalance again and say, okay, we want to give this one hero more power, we want to give this one hero more power because it did bad, and we don't know if that is a plan that they want to do this, or if they say, okay, we aim for like a 10% damage increase through every single hero, so that they roughly stay at the same power level relative to the other heroes, or if they plan to revamp that entirely and give like super good treasures to SFX and suddenly make her meta. So if you now have like a lot of S tiers of heroes that are off meta, that could be good. Which I incidentally have, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's another topic. But that is something we're also looking at. So, and then mechanical treasures. What does that mean? Well, we had mechanical changes, for example, with sublimation. Sublimations for SSM introduced another extra Omen of Rift here. Omen of Rift is the targeter for his ult. Every hero with Omen of Rift gets hit. Famously, 3 enemies with Omen of Rift get Omen of Rift when he does his ult, when he's in the back row, and so those are getting hit. If we got a treasure, for example, now, that allowed him to get a 4th Omen of Rift, that would be a huge damage increase, a huge mechanical buff to this hero, because suddenly he would be able to take out a way bigger chunk of the enemy team, neutralizing more Void Campaign stages in a more in a way easier manner than before. So if they go for mechanical changes, which they have not ruled out, this could have way more impact than we had before. If they stay with damage, you can kind of ignore them. You still have like your TBB, and she will CC, she will just do less damage while doing it. And you have your Mockman, he will still hit 3 enemies and do a lot of damage, even though maybe with the treasures he could do a little bit more than a lot of damage. So that is something to keep in mind. What are my fears? Really, my fears are that they introduce this in a that they put out mechanical treasures. That could be really bad. That could be absolutely devastating for the balance. That they shift up the balance too much of the game. I don't really want to see the big meta switch right now, because there was a treasure for SFX and suddenly she's OP. I think we are a little bit beyond that. We have a little bit too established heroes there. I like to see power increases. Yeah, SFX, for example, can have a power increase, but if SFX was now number 1 boss damage dealer, that would be so weird, and that I think people would hate that, and that would also drive people to quit. Because if you invested a lot in, let's say, LFA or Ferric Investor or whatever, you don't really want to see those heroes fall completely out of meta because the age introduced a busted treasure to some other hero. So if they just put 10% of damage on every single one, that's fine. But like super big meta switches, that is something I don't want to see, and I want to see this be available to players. Like, the current implementation of you basically having to spend 350 USD sucks. They didn't say what happens with them. I think those treasures should be available at any given point for all the players. You should be able to go for those. Maybe introduce the tickets as reward in a game mode. That would be great. If you want them, and you can still put them in events and let spenders get them. It doesn't really matter if they want to get them faster. Okay, that's cool. But it should be able to go for that, and maybe make it like a series or something in the treasure train. Like in the same way we have for the monster treasures, where you can do like hero treasures and then allow us to get the tickets, and you can select, okay, I want to get those for Basilisk, I want to get those for LFA, and that you can select this. I don't really want to come back to this point in like a year and look at Weaponry of Valor and have 30, what do we have at that point? Is it like, what is it? 38 different treasures in here, 8 different pink treasures, and 200 treasures in total, and 0 chance for you to get the right one. I don't want to talk about it even. This is so preventable at this point that it would just suck if we have to talk about this again. So make it right. And try to please talk to players a little bit more, and get away with those concerns, like, because you have people that are in your chats, that are in your community, that talk to you, that ask you questions, reply to those, and give us a little bit of a plan so that we can work with that. At least give info to somebody like Barry so that he doesn't sit in front of the screen and say, I don't know what's going to happen here. And he made a great video about this also, so definitely check that out. And I sit here in the same manner. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they plan to make those busted on like LFA or SFX or whatever. I don't know where they are even going to put those. If they are going to be hero treasures, if they're going to put those in big events, which might happen because, well, big events kind of sucked recently. I don't know what they are planning to do. I just know that I don't really like my abilities not being on my hero, but being in Treasure Train. That is the essence of it. That is what I can say. I don't really like that. And I certainly don't want to wait for an eternity once again for them to release treasures, because we are already sitting here and waiting for them to release the next monster. Where they said, yeah, we want to do the old monsters too. Sure. First of all, the system sucked. Phoenix had a very bad ability, and now we are waiting for those, which are never going to arrive, I guess. And at the same time, players don't even get the monster tickets. So I don't know. Like, there are so many mechanics where they have those problems, and I'm not too optimistic about it. And that is what kind of made me feel sick in the morning. So anyway, I want to really hear your opinion on this down in the comments. Would really appreciate it. Also, if you're on Android or an iOS phone, massively helps if you use the hype feature. It is right there where you can share a video. You can just go the way on the buttons, and there should be a button to hype. That definitely helps the video. Like and subscribe. And other than that, I just wish you a great day. Hope to see you here tomorrow when we do the event. And yeah, we'll see us in the next one, hopefully.